So as I promised, in my last live stream, I said that I would do an entire video of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and how Justin Trudeau, on which points Justin Trudeau has messed up on. So I'm just gonna go through it quickly. I'm going to share my screen like that, and then let's start, okay? So this is the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Okay, start off with the first line. Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy. Sorry, I'm gonna mispronounce a lot of words in this. They use big words. Supremacy of God and the rule of law. Guarantee of rights and freedoms. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in its subject only to such reasonable limits prescribed by law as can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. Okay. Hope you can still see that. Okay. Fundamental freedoms. Everyone has the following fundamental freedoms: freedom of conscience in religion, freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including freedom of the press and other media of communication, freedom of peaceful assembly, and freedom of association. Peaceful assembly, what does it mean by that? Maybe being able to get together peacefully. Well, actually, yeah, in Ottawa right now, people are getting together peacefully. So yeah, continue. Democratic rights. Every citizen of Canada has a right to vote in an election of members of the House of Commons or of a legislative assembly, and to be qualified for membership therein. No House of Commons and no legislative assembly shall continue for longer than 5 years from the date fixed for the return of the writs at a general election of its members. In time of real apprehended war, invasion, or insurrection, a House of Commons may be continued by Parliament, and a legislative assembly may be continued by the legislature beyond 5 years. If such continuation is not opposed by the votes of more than 1/3 of the members of the House of Commons or the legislative assembly, as the case may be. 5. There shall be a sitting of Parliament and of each legislature at least once every 12 months. Okay. Mobility rights. Every citizen of Canada has the right to enter, remain in, and leave Canada. That is one of my main, one of the biggest ones that I personally have. Every citizen of Canada has a right to enter, remain in, and leave Canada. But right now, not every citizen of Canada has that right. Okay. 2. Every citizen of Canada and every person who has the status of permanent resident of Canada has the right: A, to move to and take up residence in any province, and B, to pursue the gaining of a livelihood in any province. 3. The rights specified in subjection 2. Oh wait, what? 3. I don't know. Are subject to A, any laws or practices of general application, force, or enforced in a province other than those that discriminate among persons primarily on the basis of province of present of previous residence, and B, any laws providing for reasonable residency requirements as a qualification for the receipt of publicly provided social services. 4. Subsections 2 and 3 do not preclude any law, program, or activity that has as its object the amelioration in a province of conditions of individuals in that province who are socially or economically disadvantaged. If the rate of employment in the province is below the rate of employment in Canada. Legal rights. Everyone has a right to live, liberty and security of the person, and the right not to be deprived thereof except in accordance with the principles of fundamental justice. 8. Everyone has the right to be secure against unreasonable search or seizure. Everyone has the right not to be arbitrarily detained or imprisoned. Everyone has the right on arrest or detention. A. To be informed promptly of the reasons therefor. B. To retain and instruct counsel without delay and to be informed of that right. And C. To have the validity of the detention determined by way of habeas corpus and to be released if the detention is not lawful. Any person charged with an offense has the right to A. Be informed without unreasonable delay of the specific offense, to be tried, and B. To be tried within a reasonable time. C. Not to be compelled to be a witness in proceeding against that person in respect of the offense. D. To be presumed innocent until proven guilty according to the law in a fair and public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal. E. Not to be denied reasonable bail without just cause. F. Except in the case of an offense under military law, tried there before a military tribunal to the benefit of trial by jury, where the maximum punishment for the offense is imprisonment for 5 years, or a more severe punishment. G. Not to be found guilty on account of any act or omission unless at the time of the act or omission is constituted an offense under Canadian or international law, or was criminal according to the general principles of law recognized by the community of nations. H. If finally acquitted of the offense, not to be tried for it again, and if finally found guilty and punished for the offense, not to be tried or punished for it again. That's the first line. That took me a long time to read the first line. Okay. Oh, it's not even done. Okay. And I, if found guilty of the offense, and if the punishment for the offense has been varied between the time of commission and the time of sentencing, to the benefit of the lesser punishment. Everyone has the right not to be subjected to any cruel and unusual treatment or punishment. A witness who testifies in any proceedings has the right not to have any incrimination evidence so given used to incriminate that witness in any other proceedings except in prosecution for perjury or for the giving of contradictory evidence. 14. A party or witness in any proceedings who does not understand or speak the language in which the proceedings are conducted, or who is deaf, has the right to assistance of an interpreter. Equality rights. Every individual is equal before and under the law, and has a right to the equal protection and equal benefit of the law without discrimination, and in particular without discriminating based on race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, sex, age, or mental or physical disability. 2. Subsection does not preclude any law, program, or activity that has as its object the amelioration of conditions of disadvantaged individuals or groups, including those that are disadvantaged because of race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, sex, age, or mental or physical disability. Official languages of Canada. English and French are the official languages of Canada and have equality of status and equal rights and privileges as to their use in all institutions of the Parliament and Government of Canada. English and French are the official languages of New Brunswick and have equality of status and equal rights and privileges as to their use in all institutions of the legislature and the Government of New Brunswick. 3. Nothing in this charter limits the authority of Parliament or legislature to advance the equality of status or use of French and English. The English community and the French community in New Brunswick have equality of status of equal rights and privileges, including the right to distinct education institutions and such distinct cultural institutions as are necessary for the preservation and promotion of these communities. The role of the and Government of New Brunswick to preserve and promote the status, rights, and privileges referred to in subsection is affirmed. Everyone has the right to use English or French in any debates and any other proceedings of Parliament. Everyone has the right to use English or French in any debates and other proceedings of the legislature of New Brunswick. And the status records and journals of Parliament shall be printed and published in English and French, and both language versions are equally authoritative. The statutes, records, and journals of the legislature of New Brunswick shall be printed and published in English and French, and both language versions equally authoritative. Okay, do I have to read all of that? I'm just going to skim over it to see if there's anything that's necessary. And you can read it too. You can pause it and read it if you want. Minority language educational rights. Citizens of Canada whose first language learned and still understood is that of the English or French linguistic minority population of the province in which they reside, or B, who have received their primary school instruction in Canada in English or French and reside in a province where the language in which they received that instruction is the language of the English or French linguistic minority population of the province. Have the right to have their children receive primary and secondary school instruction in that language and in that province. Citizens of Canada of whom any child has received or is receiving primary or secondary school instruction in English or in French in Canada have the right to have all their children receive primary and secondary school instruction in the same language. The right of citizens of Canada under subsections 1 and 2 to have their children receive primary and secondary school instructions in the language of English or French, linguistic minority population of province A applies whether in the province the number of children citizens who have such a right is sufficient to warrant the provision to them out of public funds of minority language instruction, and B, includes where the number of those children so warrants the right to have them receive that instruction in minority language educational facilities provided out of public funds. Hey, who's that? Pierre Elliott Trudeau? Elliott, right? Pierre Trudeau. Pierre Elliott Trudeau? I think so. I don't know. It's just the last. Yeah, just the last. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. Enforcement. Anyone whose rights or freedoms as guaranteed by this charter have been infringed or denied may apply to a court of competent jurisdiction to obtain such remedy as the court considers appropriate and just under this in the circumstances. Wow. Anyone whose rights and freedoms as guaranteed by this charter have been infringed or denied may apply to a court. Wow. And Trudeau is in court, isn't he? Where in proceedings under subsection 1, a court concludes that evidence was obtained in a manner that infringed or denied any rights or freedoms guaranteed by this charter, the evidence shall be excluded if it is established that, having regard to all the circumstances, the admission of it in the proceedings would bring the administration of justice into disrepute. General. The guarantee in this charter of certain rights and freedoms shall not be construed as to abrogate or derogate from any Aboriginal treaty or other rights or freedoms that pertain to the Aboriginal peoples of Canada, including A. any rights or freedoms that have been recognized by the Royal Proclamation of October 7th, 1763, and B. any rights or freedoms that now exist by way of land claims, agreements, or may be so acquired. The guarantee in this charter of certain rights and freedoms shall not be construed as denying the existence of any other rights or freedoms that exist in Canada. This charter shall be interpreted in a manner consistent with the preservation and enhancement of the multicultural heritage of Canadians. Notwithstanding anything in this charter, the rights and freedoms referred to in it are guaranteed equally to equally to male and female persons. Nothing in this charter abrogates or derogates from any rights or privileges guaranteed by under the Constitution of Canada in respect of denominational, separate, or dissentient schools. A reference in this charter to a province or the legalist assembly or a legalist of a province shall be deemed to include a reference to the Yukon Territory and the Northwest Territories, or to the appropriate legislative authority thereof, as the case may be. Nothing in this charter extends the legislative power of any body or authority. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. Okay. Application of charter. And this charter applies A, to the Parliament and Government of Canada in respect of all matters within the authority of Parliament, including all matters relating to the Yukon Territory and Northwest Territories, and B, to the legislature and government of each province in respect of all matters within the authority of legislature of each province. 2. Notwithstanding subjection, Section 15 shall not have effect until 3 years after this section becomes into force. Parliament or the legislature of a province may expressly declare in an act of Parliament or of the legislature, as the case may be, that the act or a provision thereof shall operate notwithstanding a provision included in section 2 or section 7 to 15 of this charter. An act or a provision of an act in respect of which a declaration made under this section is in effect shall have such operation as it would have but for the provision of this charter referred to in the declaration. A declaration made under subsection shall cease to have effect 5 years after it comes into force, or on such earlier date as may be specified in the declaration. Parliament or the legislature of any province must reenact a declaration made under subsection 5 or 3 applies in respect of reenactment made under any subsection. Citation. Oh my goodness, I know. This part may be cited as the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We must now establish the basic principles, the basic values and beliefs which hold us together as Canadians, so that beyond our regional loyalties there is a way of life and a system of values which make us proud of the country that has been given us so much freedom and so much immeasurable joy. That is the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And that is that. So that took a long time to read that. 22 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you you might be able to I'm gonna add the link to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms to the description, and yeah, you can read it on your own, and you can apply it to the world today and how some people are ignoring it and not following it anymore. So yeah, thank you for watching, and have a great day.